Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I'm a Twin Flame Channel and Western Astrologer. And this is a video with a special message for mutable signs. This includes our friends Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Virgo. This is a special season for you as the North Node just moved into Gemini, which is a mutable sign. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the changes and what this means for your life and how those changes are presenting to you or someone you love who has significant mutable energy in their chart. And if you're new, welcome. This channel was made to help you understand yourself and your loved ones through astrology and help you find your way into your sovereignty. By working with the energy instead of having the energy work on you, you get to work with it. So please subscribe to the channel. And for everyone, if you would go ahead and hit that like button, I would love that. Thank you so much. This particular message for mutable signs, Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, and Virgo, and for those who love them or have a lot of that energy in their chart, is going to be relevant through the entirety of the Sagittarius, Gemini eclipse cycle, which spans, it spans June 5th of 2020, and it goes all the way through December 3rd of 2021. This particular eclipse cycle is indicated by the change of signage for the North and the South node. You can see the North and the South node here in this chart. These are mathematical computations as opposed to particular planets, and they're based on the relationship of the moon to the planet Earth. That being said, when the nodes are in a particular sign, they are calling us towards something we need to learn and explore. The North Node in your personal chart is all about the lifelong lesson that you are here to explore and you're here to learn about. You can learn more about your own North Node through the North Node series that I have on this channel. Just find the playlist and click on the North Node for your particular sign. But when the nodes change signs for the collective, those 2.5 years that the nodes sit in a very particular sign are indicative of an energy that we're being asked to learn about collectively together. And the nodes moved into Gemini and Sagittarius during this last month, June of 2020, and they'll be in these two signs through the end of 2021. So when we're called to work in a mutable sign, what we're working on is the energy of change. Mutable signs are the energies of transformation. So Gemini is the season during which we shift from spring to summer. And so what mutable means in that case is that we're moving from one place to another, and we have to be flexible in getting there. The Virgo season is our shift from summer to fall. And we start officially in summer, but we end officially in fall. Mind that you understand that this is reversed if you're in the southern hemisphere of the globe. Sagittarius season is the season in which we move out of fall. We start officially in fall, but we end officially in winter. And Pisces season takes us officially out of winter and into spring. Notice that the theme here is starting in one place but ending in another. The energy of mutable seasons, and it's important to understand this, I covered this in the Sag-Gemini eclipse cycle video, that the energy here in a mutable season is that 1 week we may get weather from the season we're headed into, but the following week we may get weather from the season we just came out of. It's important to remember that even if we have weather from the season we just came out of, it doesn't mean where we're headed isn't coming. It just means we're in a cycle of change. What's fun about this is that at the moment, the collective, all of us are called toward Gemini energy. And Gemini energy is specifically the energy of communication. It rules the third house. Mercury is its ruling planet. And Gemini energy is not only about communication, but it's about the mental constructs of our brain. The thought forms, the belief systems, it's all of the ways that our mind works that then control our mouth. And the Gemini North Node cycle here is going to ask us to pay attention to transforming those in a way that actually serve us. During this cycle, all of us have the North Node in Gemini in some house, and I'm going to cover the houses for each one of the signs at the end of this video, so stick around if you want to know if you're an Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, whatever sign you are. I'll walk you through which house you're being called to focus on this mental and verbal restructuring during this eclipse cycle. That being said, eclipses, the eclipse cycle that's ushering in this energy, like I said, it starts on June 5th of 2020 with a lunar eclipse. And here's that lunar eclipse in Sagittarius 2020. Where's my annotation tool? Let me get that back. Okay. So we have a start with a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius on June 5th. Lunar eclipses are, again, a relationship of, the alignment of Earth, Moon, and Sun, but they represent endings and completion. Solar eclipses represent new beginnings. And when the nodes change signs, we move into an eclipse cycle relevant to that sign. Right now, with the North Node and South Node in Gemini and Sagittarius, we are going to move through a Gemini and Sagittarius eclipse season that asks us to change things on that Gemini-Sagittarius axis in our charts. And again, I'll cover what that means for each sign in a moment here. But notice that the lunar eclipse here in Sagittarius is followed by a lunar eclipse here in Gemini in November, and a final lunar eclipse here in Sagittarius next May in 2021. Lunar eclipses represent endings and completions of a certain way of doing things. But we also have solar eclipses on the Sag-Gemini axis as well. We've got new beginnings that begin in December of 2020 and move forward with another solar eclipse in June of 2021 and the final solar eclipse of the cycle in December of 2021. Notice how there is an energy of an ending, one door closing, and a beginning, another door opening, but there's overlap here. Remember how we talked about there's a period of time where we get weather from both seasons, and it's important to remember where things are headed to not lose our cool, not lose our heads. This is the energy of a Sag-Gemini eclipse cycle. Starts one place, ends in another. So let's take a look at what it is we're all called to be doing, right? So Gemini, with what I love about Gemini energy gives us the divine gifting of communication. And not only does it give us the gifting of communication, but it gives us the energy of creating things through our words and creating things through thinking them first and then speaking them first. If you happen to be into metaphysics, this is the understanding that the universe is mental. If you happen to be more based in some of the Abrahamic faiths, well, in the beginning, there was the word. However you choose to come to this, what you're being asked to do is transform thought and communication to create a new direction for your life and for the earth. We're being called to step into our divine creatorship skills. The challenging piece of this particular eclipse cycle and nodal transit cycle is that during this period of time, we've got a transit of Neptune squaring the nodes. So here's Neptune up here at the top of your chart. And here's again the north node and the south node. What's challenging about a Neptune square to anything um, is that Neptune brings the energy of a lack of clarity, a non definitive kind of energy. It dissolves things instead of allowing them to come together cohesively. And so, with a Neptune square to the direction we're all called to move in as a collective, it's making the direction we're headed very unclear. And you may find if you have a Gemini North Node in your chart, things may have felt a little unclear. The things you're supposed to be learning a little uncertain for the last several years as Neptune really ramped up its transit through Pisces, the mutable sign of Pisces. And for the collective, you're going to feel this uncertainty and unsteady footing, or, the answer is, I don't know, all the way through about, I would say, March of 2021, when the nodes clear out of range of the Neptune square. Things will start to feel more clear, like you have an understanding of what the new world is going to be like, what your new life is going to be like post-pandemic, post-lockdown, once we get into about March of next year. But between now and then, the areas of life that I'm going to tell you about in a moment are the things you need to be focusing on and working with in order to restructure that new life and that new direction. The main thing to understand with the beginning part of this particular nodal transit into Gemini and Sagittarius, is that we have to take things one step at a time. Even if that next step is non-linear, even if it's like, wait a minute, you show up to work one day and they're telling you they want you to do the job that they had you do 2 years ago. If you want to keep your job, do the job, and then watch how it unfolds to quantum leap you forward and get you into the next season as we continue down the road. That is, unless you really hate your job and you just want to, you want to do something different, then obviously, exit stage right. But if what you want is to be in this company, then it's that kind of energy where it's like, wait a minute, I've been here, I've done this, I shouldn't be moving backwards. Yet, this is what mutable energy does. It goes with the flow, one step at a time. Going with the flow is going to assist you in actually getting to the outcomes you actually want, rather than fighting it and trying to direct it. Directive energy, moving things in a particular direction, picking a goal and actually reverse engineering our way to it, is Sag energy. And while that has its place, what we're all being called to explore right now with the North Node in Gemini is the opposite energy. We're being called to explore the energy of wait and see. Take a step and allow it to settle, and then see what happens next. Geminis are notoriously good at being patient people, giving themselves the opportunity to relax and see what happens next, and to go with the flow. And so while that may be challenging for those of you who have a lot of Sagittarius energy in your chart, allowing yourself to step into that opposite energy of your natural state is going to get you through this transit in a way that doesn't undermine everything that you've been working toward. If you try to push, if you try to direct, if you try to control, if you try to pick a direction, aim like an archer would, and get there, you will find that you are getting in your own way during this cycle, and so is everything else in the collective. The universe is trying to work with you, but you have to also be very flexible during this period of time. So let's take a look at what this is going to mean for each of the signs, shall we? If you're in Aries or have an Aries rising, You're being invited to communicate and rethink and restructure your thinking about your third house. And the third house is all about communication, it's all about your mind. And so, this is going to be a period of time when you're required to really rethink the way you think about things so that your thought processes aren't hindering your ability to get what you want. This is a wonderful time to engage in practices of removing self limiting and negative beliefs, reprogramming your communication patterns, and getting into courses that allow you, or working with healers that allow you to do that. If you are a Taurus, this is a period of time where you're being asked to restructure your communication and your thought patterns about money and about your self worth and your self talk. How do you talk to yourself when no one is around? Do the things you say to yourself, are those things that you would ever let somebody else hear? Would you say those things to another human being? And not only that, but if you're not making money in a way that's congruent with your soul, Taurus, during this period of time, you're going to be asked to transform it, to shift, to rethink it, and to start communicating as the person that you want to become. Gemini, this energy for you is happening right on top of your sun over the course of these 2 years. So expect that the eclipses and the nodes are going to shift you into being a better version of you than you've ever been. And the series of experiences happening this year, 2020, and in 2021 are going to push you into being a better version of yourself, one that you actually feel better about and more capable with in the years to come. Cancer, this North Node energy and eclipse energy is going to illuminate specifically for you your 12th house. The 12th house energy, this is going to be a wonderful time to get a therapist, to work with a coach, to do some excavation around your underlying templates and beliefs that you inherited from family, that you inherited from mom and dad, about any area of life where you're stuck. If you're stuck feeling constantly betrayed by friends, what beliefs did you inherit? What is your self-talk about it? If you're stuck feeling constantly like you can't get the kind of job that you want, what beliefs did you inherit? What did you see growing up? Wherever you're stuck, look at the templates you inherited from your familial line. This is going to help you move forward and transform your life. Leo, this is all about friendships for you and your goals and your hopes, wishes, and dreams. And during this period of time, you're going to be called to rethink and restructure the way that your goals, hopes, wishes, and dreams and friendships work. And to do this, the universe is going to bring forward a series of endings, those eclipses, and then in 2021, a series of new beginning with those eclipses as well. If there are people going, Leo, let them go. If there are new people coming, pay attention to who they are, because their capacity to go with the flow is also going to show you how to work with this energy as well. Virgo, this energy for you is going to be all about your career and strengthening your career and moving in a better direction career wise. You're going to be asked to thoughtfully and with your words take stock of everywhere you've been career wise so that you can move forward in a way that is actually more aligned with everything you've already learned. Pay attention to your lessons, Virgo. Pay attention to the patterns that have played out, especially in any place where you feel blocked career wise. Libra, for you, this is going to be about higher education and things you need to learn from someone. If there is a coach or a mentor or an educational program that you have felt called to do, now is the time with this North Node moving through Gemini. This is your opportunity to learn something from someone who can help you take your life forward by quantum leaps instead of needing to do it yourself. There's a lot of supportive energy for someone to teach you something that you may have struggled with so that you are no longer struggling with it by the end of this transit. Scorpio, For you, this is all about sex, death, and taxes. It's all about that natural scorpionic energy and learning how to communicate about it. Talk about how you're changing and transforming. Communicate with those around you who love you. And learn some ways for yourself that transformation is actually a good thing as opposed to something to fear or dread, but also this is going to be about learning how sometimes it's just about changing the way you think, not necessarily about changing your life. Sagittarius, seventh house for you. So this north node in your opposite sign is going to call you and put a focus on relationships, partnerships, romantic and business in a way that you've never had before. Your bar is going to be higher. You're going to be thinking differently about relationships, and you will be focused on having relationships work in a way that they've never worked before. Even if they've worked great, they're going to work even better with the changes coming with this eclipse cycle. Also, expect that during this eclipse cycle, some of you may get married, some of you may get divorced. This period of time is meant to restructure your thinking such that in the world of relationships, if something's misaligned with who you really are, it's going to shift in some significant way during this transit of the nodes through Sag and Gemini. Capricorn, north node traveling through the sixth house from your sun, or sixth sign from your sun. Capricorn, this is going to be about service for you. And this is going to also call you toward paying careful attention to your health. Some of the eclipses, if you've got issues that can flare up, expect them to flare up around these eclipses, and expect that you're going to need to give yourself that baseline of attention and thought about your health and well-being so that you're not in a position to be compromised by the eclipses, especially the first three lunar eclipses. Capricorn, really take good care of your health. Secondly, in terms of service, you want to make sure that if you've got any limiting beliefs around being of service, martyrdom beliefs or I'm owed beliefs when I'm being of service, any imbalances in your thinking around being of service, this nodal transit through Gemini is asking you to weed those things out so that you can be of service in a way that's congruent to your soul. Aquarius, this is going to be about your creativity and the way you create and manifest on planet Earth. Any blocks in your thinking and in your speech about the way you manifest what you're doing on planet Earth, or about children, your creative projects, these are things that are going to be weeded out, and you're going to be shown what they are so that you can remove them and get out of your own way when it comes to manifestation. Pisces, this is going to be about a move for you and needing to move into a place that's going to be more supportive for your next step in terms of your career and work and what you're here to do in this world. In addition to that, you may find that who you are has shifted so dramatically by the end of this transit that you've just outgrown where you're currently living. If you're feeling called to move, definitely move, Pisces. This is definitely the time. Okay. If you want to take a look at how these nodal eclipses, the change of the nodes and the eclipses are going to impact your birth sign, or you personally, I would suggest getting a personal reading. Just email me at chrysalismoon@gmail.com, KRYSALISMOON@gmail.com, to receive a invitation to schedule a personal reading. Once you've booked, I'll send you the calendar link so that you can go ahead and get on the schedule. I thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. And I look forward to being able to support you in the coming videos.